Good morning, America, and welcome to a discussion about how Donald Trump won the 2020 presidential election. Well, it seems once again state level polls understated, especially in the Rust Belt, understated Donald Trump's performance. He picked up one state, Minnesota, from his 2016 map, becoming the first Republican since Richard Nixon to win the state. This is another story of the political outsider beating a longtime member of the political elite, and doing so in a manner that has already begun to cause consternation for the Democratic Party. Because Trump managed to be a whopping 4.5% behind Joe Biden in the final national popular vote, while still carrying the Electoral College, and by an even greater amount. Arizona was by far the closest state, and very realistically could have flipped. This election seems to be an indication that Trump was immune to all conventional logic, and that the referendum on Trump was unsuccessful. You could argue that we shouldn't have a system that is based off of giving political entities power and focusing on a few swing states in a few different areas. But supposedly politics is about coalition building and representing diverse and disparate areas to ensure the broadest coalition of voters possible. If that's the case, then the Democrats' strategy of focusing on urban, liberal, college-educated elites is counter to that, because that is one demographic block, whereas the Republicans are appealing to Southerners, to Midwesterners, to mountain folk out in the West, to Texans, to Alaskans, as well as focusing on those who are farmers, auto workers, businessmen, and so many more. That's a broad coalition. Donald Trump was able to do this because, surprisingly, he sounded more coherent than Joe Biden did in their 3 debates. In fact, all 3 debates were considered disastrous for Joe Biden, who constantly tripped over his own words, misstated statistics, and destroyed any chance the Democrats had at their own credibility over Donald Trump's, because Biden couldn't get his facts straight. The worst moment came when he tried to use John Bolton as a damning piece of evidence against Donald Trump, who replied, "You also believed him in 2001 when he said Iraq had weapons of mass destruction." And that moment was played for a week straight. Will this matter in the grand scheme of things? Or will 2024 follow conventional logic once again? We are yet to find out. But I look forward to seeing what happens in the future. Alright, everybody. So, that was a video that was designed to kind of explain what could happen in a reasonable Donald Trump victory scenario. I decided to go with a not dissimilar election to 2016, except with Joe Biden's specific stuff, because let's be honest here, he isn't exactly proving himself to be the most coherent candidate ever. I think the other day he said that 150 million people have died because of coronavirus before correcting himself. The fact that he made a mistake there shows that he's not exactly in the best position. Similar to when he said like 150 million people died of gun violence within a certain amount of time in the United States. And no matter how long of a time frame you're talking about, that's just simply not the case. I think Terry McAuliffe said it was like 70 million or 300 million before he was run out of office. Or I say that he was run out. He wasn't. He was term limited, and that's basically because Virginia does. You're only allowed one term at a time, which I actually don't mind that. I think that's actually a really good idea. But I'm struggling to figure out how Biden is going to be able to cover that up when a debate is going to be 90 minutes of unscripted, unprepared, and completely off the cuff speech. And even when he's scripted, he's making errors. There was an ad he put out recently that I saw, and he tripped over his own words in that thing and made a sentence that was fairly normal sound almost grammatically incoherent. And, of course, the subtitles got what he was trying to say because they had to put subtitles on his own ad for a native English speaker with no discernible accent. Okay. And they had all the time in the world to refilm that or to edit or do something so that no audible mistakes could be found, and yet they didn't. Either that's incompetence or they're banking on his gaffes being the lovable grandpa type of mistakes, where you're just like, oh, that's just Joe. No, this is far beyond the Joe Biden mistakes we've seen. From the "I like kids jumping on my lap" gaffe to the "I believe poor kids can be just as smart as white kids" to and it's not even just the ones this cycle, because he's had a few others that are just brilliant too. We choose truth over facts. What does that even mean? I'm Joe Biden and I'm running for Senate. Confusing his wife and his granddaughter. Yeah. Now, to be fair, yeah, they did switch sides on it, but still, you should know where... I mean, that's not to say Trump is infallible. He isn't. He makes mistakes all the time. It's just, the argument is supposed to be that Joe Biden is more professional, he doesn't make mistakes, and he's more coherent than Donald Trump, and yet... There was a clip where he's just like, look, hey, look, come on, look. And he just said that for like a minute and a half straight. I mean, I know Trump is very repetitive, but he's not that repetitive. So, yeah. Anyway, likes, comments, subscriptions, they always help. I greatly appreciate them. And as always, now that I've started doing it, I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow night, doing a live stream tomorrow night around 9 to 10, where I play a game with historical stuff in it and talk about history, because history buff, and I gotta make that degree worth it somehow. He's somewhat serious about that, but also somewhat joking. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you had a nice day, or have a nice day. See y'all next time. Take it easy. Bye bye.